Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to WrestleLine, a live show tonight. I'm your host, John Scott, joined as always by my co-host, Matt Essex. And on the show tonight, we're going to be talking all things WWE Stomping Ground from Sunday night, the fallout of that, plus last night's Raw and the surprise return that we got there. And, of course, all other news in and around wrestling. We've got a few bits of news coming up, plus questions as well from yourselves. And if you do want to get in touch, you've still got time. You can hit us up by emailing us at wrestleline@gmail.com. That's wrestleline@gmail.com. So we're going to bring Matt into the show now. And how you doing, Matt, this week? And I know us in the UK, we've been enjoying some sunny weather, but now it's turned to quite muggy weather and sticky and horrible. But how are you doing?
Yeah, all right, yeah, and that's what it is, part of being British, isn't it? If you want the sun comes out, sun's too hot, you can never be happy.
Yeah, that's our problem. We're never happy. It's dark sometimes of the year, and then it's light. We just about get everything in one day here. But yes, nothing lasts forever over here, so we'll make the most of it. So Matt, I want to start with WWE Stomping Ground this week. Of course, WWE's new titled pay-per-view. Wasn't a massive fan of that, by the way, going into that. I'm not sure why they don't just sometimes stick to an original title. I don't know, like Backlash or Vengeance or any of the others they've had, Bad Blood. But yeah, anytime they start off a new name, a bit like, what was that awful name? Was it last year or the year before, that Great Balls of Fire?
A couple of years ago, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're just so, they're not even that great anymore. I mean, I just don't know where they get them from. I almost feel like I wish they'd just go back to In Your House and just have a number on it rather than trying to come up with these names and titles that mean so little to me in terms anyway. But so they're trying to establish, I don't know, maybe they're not trying to establish, but another pay-per-view, only 2 weeks removed, I might add, from the Saudi Arabia show. Quite a big talking point as well. So they really only had 2 weeks to get people infused about this. One of the big things going into this one, Matt, and I'll say this much, the big concern from our listeners was, we were getting a lot of sort of fallout, sort of, second-hand sort of matches from Super Showdown at this pay-per-view, and that was a big sort of issue going into this one, whether people's interests would be up on it or not. So I thought what we'll do tonight, just to sort of go through, we won't do like a full review like we normally do with pay-per-views, but we will summarise what's been going on Stomping Ground. So first of all, Matt, with the pre-show this time, I will say I did watch it, and I was probably one of the best pre-show matches I've seen in some time. The cruiserweight match. How good was this for you? And what did you make of crowning a new champion for them as well?
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by that match as well, and it's kind of a shame it didn't make it to the main card, because it honestly was better than some of the matches that did make it to the main card. So a little bit of a shame, especially when you get a new champion crowned. You think you'd showcase him a little bit better than that, get him a little bit more of a platform to actually show him off. And it's about time he won that belt, if I'm honest. I feel like he's always been a talented guy, and lately he's been doing some of his best work. So I'm glad that he's got it now.
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, it was a bit of a shame it didn't get to the main card, like you say, because this was a great advert for it. But yeah, I mean, they got, I think it was 11 minutes 20 seconds worth of this match, and it was a decent outing. I quite enjoyed it. So yeah, we had that, of course, all the normal pre-show stuff that you expect, and the kick-off stuff, of course. And we get to the main show, Matt, and they kick it off with Becky Lynch defending the title up against, of course, Lacey Evans. I know they're quite big on these days, aren't they, Matt, about having sort of a top match at the beginning and a top match at the end. But for me, I personally, call me old, I don't know if you want, but I just don't really like it. I think that, yes, the first match is important, but it also, putting them on first sometimes also tells the crowd that, and the audience, especially at home, not so much the crowd actually, but the audience at home that are watching this sort of long-term vision type stuff, that, you know, this isn't the main stuff anymore. And, you know, I used to see it a lot with AJ Styles. He used to always be on at first, and he used to be their title, used to get this treatment. But now it's the women. Of course, you know, as the show went on, Matt, it sort of, you know, worked out why it was on first. But and I get that with the pacing and all the rest, and the fact that Lacey Evans was involved later and all the other shenanigans. But I did feel a little bit underwhelmed that they did chuck this out first, because I don't know. I just prefer myself, being an old traditionalist, I prefer to have the sort of bigger matches towards the end of the night, not at the beginning. But I know WWE's thing is that they feel like the crowd lose interest. But if you, I don't know, if you supply them with decent enough stuff, they will be interested. I think that's the big thing here. But what did you make of this match kicking off the show, Matt, and the match itself? And obviously seeing Lacey Evans, how impressed was you with her on this match in particular with Becky Lynch?
You know, I thought for myself that I wasn't really that bothered that this one was on first. Although Becky Lynch is the main eventer and she's carrying a title into this match, this is a match that we have already seen before. And the previous time that we saw it, she kind of dispatched Lacey Evans without a problem. And then she had to go on and fight Charlotte afterwards. So it's almost made it look like that she's nowhere near on that level with Becky in the storyline sense, but they've been writing it that way, making it look like she can get through her and then challenge Charlotte afterwards and have a realistic chance. So for me, it was always kind of written that, you know, Lacey had no chance of winning, so it kind of took the interest away from it for me. The match itself, I don't know, it was a bit all over the place. I saw like a few spots where they were sort of misstepping and getting some moves wrong, and even on now you can watch it on the network and they still haven't taken it out, but you can actually hear Becky calling some of the spots in the match. I don't know whether like they were trying to do it off the cuff and it just wasn't coming off well, but I feel like the chemistry between them two, I'm not feeling it. I just don't feel like it's there between them.
Yeah, I agree. I think Lacey Evans is a hell of a hand. I think she will be good, but I think somebody needs to have a quick word with her and say, hang on a minute, like she taps so quick. Take a few Mississippi countdown. I don't know, 5 seconds there, and then tap. You know, I thought it was all very quick, and you know, for me, it's just a really weird way of building somebody up and then completely dropping someone. She's been doing all these silly kind of walkouts for God knows how long, and they've just used her in a way where, like you say, there is really hardly any threat, which is a massive shame. And, you know, for you to say there, Matt, that this didn't feel like a top match, and I know that there were a lot of matches on this card, by the way, that we've pretty much already seen in one way or another, leading up to this, but I feel like it does sort of indicate to me that the smoke that was with Becky, I don't know, at least when last October to about mid-February, I would say she was so over strong. I would say now is starting to really dampen, and I think that showed a lot in this. It's a real shame. It's almost like she was getting herself over, and WWE basically decided, no, you're not going to get that over. We're going to pull that from underneath of you. And I still feel like she hasn't had the complete rub yet that she needs to. And maybe just a little bit of a filler here. But it was a bit of a shame on Lacey Evans, I felt. But yeah, totally agree with what you said about the match as well. So yeah, Becky Lynch winning by submission. Match that went 11 minutes 30 seconds. Matt, a few of our listeners had already sort of been emailing me after this first match because I looked at the time of the email when it was coming in, and our good friend Jimbo, he was like, yeah, as soon as he saw that match was first, he was like, yeah, Lacey's going to be the ref later. And it was, it seemed. Did you have the same? Did you see that instantly as well, or was that just?
For me, like, I didn't know they were going to go all out and expose the relationship between Seth and Becky to the level they have. So it didn't enter my mind at that point. So, if I had been thinking along those lines, I would have gone with that. But I thought WWE work in a different way and they're a bit more protective of these things. So I kind of doubted that would happen. Although I did have in my mind that it could be a woman, because that's the only way they could get Seth from stop smashing him with chairs.
Yeah, he's got some standards. So that match finished. Then we have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn up against New Day members Big E and Xavier Woods. Match that went 11 minutes 5 seconds. This, for me, Matt, it just was missing I don't know, something. Felt a little bit flat for me. What about you, Matt?
Oh, I don't know. I thought I was quite the opposite.
Yeah, I
felt
didn't
like
get much out of this
with this one. We had seen it many times, the triple threat or whatever, the 6-man tag matches that they would have, and all of that. And in some way or another, we had seen this match many times before. But I feel like this time they did it a little bit differently. They gave the heels the upper hand at the start. It started off with a bang. I thought I thought the New Day could lose quite rapidly and sort of in a shockingly fast time. But they dragged it out a little bit longer, and I think all the spots were there to make it a good match.
Yeah, I don't know what it is for me. I kind of feel like, I think for me going into this, seeing Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, just what they've been doing with these guys of late is just, I don't know, it's so underwhelming for me. I'm kind of happy that they're involved in something, but I was really hoping a lot more for both of them, especially Kevin Owens on that return just before WrestleMania. But I felt like this was a match that I went into not really high expectations. Yes, I do think the guys did a solid job, but it just wasn't something as a fan I was really that invested in who wins or loses. I just didn't really care, which is a shame because I should want to care, but I really didn't. But yeah, a match going 11 minutes 5 seconds. Matt Sandy enjoyed it there. This next match, I did enjoy this a lot more. This was the United States Championship match, Matt. We had Ricochet becoming the new United States champion against Samoa Joe, who basically since holding that title has, it's a terrible record. I mean, if you've seen the statistics that are out there, he's incredibly ridiculous. To even, it'd be like a boxing champion holding a belt but never winning after he's won it, like in non-title matches. It's incredible. It's just not been that fantastic, but great for Ricochet. I feel like for a change, Matt, that WWE are going to ride the wave somewhat with Ricochet on this one. I felt like I was much more happier with Ricochet in this one because I felt like he wasn't doing, everything speed and fast, and he'd done more things in it as a, because you can do that, but you've got to you have to change the style a little bit in WWE to have some longevity in what you're going to do here, and I felt like he displayed that in this match, and overall it was a good performance. Did you see Ricochet winning this title, Matt, as soon as it was announced, or was this something that surprised you?
I felt like this could have been a 50-50 kind of thing because the way that the title's been used lately, and it's only around Samoa Joe because Rey Mysterio has issues lately and he's off to get himself sorted out. But I kind of felt like the title was up in the air because they couldn't have had any long-term plans for that, because I'm sure that the plan would have been to keep it with Rey, but unfortunately that couldn't be carried on. So giving it to Ricochet is definitely the next best thing because he's of that style as Rey, and if they had a plan to actually get the fans interested in this title, and particularly youngsters, that's the way to go about it, someone fast and exciting. But it is kind of a shock to me in some ways because it doesn't really feel like a Vince McMahon kind of move. It feels like well, surely he wasn't the one that pulled the trigger on this and made the decision, because quite lately, Ricochet has felt like he's been forgotten on that roster almost.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely having the most, when he comes out, he's getting the reactions are definitely there.